Just coming almost only 4 months. Only 4 months he coming in Singapore, but company bankrupt, don't have job, send him to Bangladesh. Tomorrow he have uh, going to Bangladesh.
My name is Ethan. I'm the General Manager of TWC2, and I manage the day-to-day operations of the organization. TWC2 was founded maybe in the late 90s by a group of social activists who came together because there was a lot of maid abuse at that point in time. So basically, there was one very serious case whereby an Indonesian domestic worker was abused in very bad ways. She was kicked, she was starved, she was burned, and at the point of her death, she weighed only about 30 kilos. And very importantly, the media had done an interview with the neighbor and asked one of the neighbors, so you would have seen and you would have observed what was happening. Why didn't you do anything about it? And the neighbor's response was, God has eyes to see, so I don't have to do anything. So I think that response in particular got a lot of the activists to decide that they needed to come together and to form an organization to change public perceptions and ensure that something like this doesn't happen again. We were formalized as a charitable organization in 2004, and around that time we also kind of shifted our focus from that of domestic workers to male migrant workers. So the bulk of our clients today are construction workers or those in the marine sector. And I think maybe around 2008, something that happened in 2008 played a big part in that, and that was the start of our free meals program. 2008 also happened to be the height of a recession in Singapore. Singapore was undergoing an economic crisis, and some of our volunteers noticed that there were some workers who were sleeping rough on the streets, and they went to approach the workers and ask them, how can we help? What can we do for you? And we asked in particular whether giving them a free meal would be helpful, and they said yes. And that's essentially how our free meals program started in Little India, whereby we started giving daily meals to destitute male migrant workers, those basically who faced an injury, a workplace injury or a salary claim, and who were therefore were without a job, without income, and who were not allowed to work and were not being supported by their employers. And because we were very active in the Little India area, the male workers who hung around that area started to notice us, and I guess organically that's also how our clientele of male migrant workers started to grow. The primary issue that migrant workers face today is that of very high recruitment fees. Workers paid up to 20,000 or more than 20,000 Singapore dollars for their jobs. Can you imagine? Can you personally imagine paying that kind of money for your job? So why should the poorest, lowest wage workers be the ones who are paying such obscene amounts of money just to get a job? So because essentially they have paid so much money, they have taken loans at home, they have sold their parents' jewelry, pawned their jewelry in order to have that money to pay the intermediary fees in order to come work in Singapore. Because they have already invested so much money, it becomes very devastating for these workers when something goes wrong. For example, if they face a situation where they have not been paid correctly at work, they have been underpaid or not paid their salaries at all, they will find it very hard to bring it up with their employers because Singapore practices a system whereby the employer is directly responsible for the worker in which they hire, and the employer also has the ability and the power essentially to send the worker home at any time. So the worker, the poor worker who has invested so much, would be very, very afraid of angering his employer and causing his employer to send him home. TWC2 Day Space is basically a multi-purpose space in Little India. During the daytime, it's like a drop-in center for any migrant worker who wishes to have a space in which they could just sit and hang out and have a chat with fellow friends and migrant workers. And on certain days, TWC2 hosts our events at that space as well. And on weekends, the domestic worker groups use our space, the day space, to hold their classes, enrichment classes, sewing classes, and so on, in which they could better themselves. But critically, at night, after all of that, at the end of each day, that space is for the residents, for our residents to sleep in. So these would be workers whose employers have not given them shelter, have not given them a dormitory room to sleep in, and therefore, if not for TWC2's shelter, day space, they would be essentially be sleeping on the streets. So they would be residing at day space, whether it's an injury case in which they're being treated for and they're waiting for the treatment to complete, or a salary situation in which they are waiting for a resolution.
Hi, my name is Shordar. I'm from Bangladesh. So I helped my friend to interview. So Bangla, that's all.
My name is Mamun Kausar. I'm from Bangladesh. I'm a new worker. I have come 4 months ago. My elder brother friends helped me to come Singapore. He was a worker in my company. He was a supervisor.
Still so many agents have in my country, Bangladesh. Still so many people also coming in Singapore. It's some engineer, so he's the engineer. Then contact to them, then coming. Actually, he's coming to Singapore, pay the agent money almost Singapore 7,000 plus, and he all this money take from other person. I mean, some loan, seem like a loan. So he don't have the money. He other person to take this, and Singapore coming. So he now working this same company, but company now is have same like a bank draft. Company is no have so much job. That's why company asking to him, you must go back to Bangladesh. His salary maybe 3,500, but company never pay him the proper. Pay how much? কত করে?
1250, 500.
Every month company pay 1,200 like that. He is coming to engineer, but his company don't give to any job to same like engineer. Actually, never say nice reason. Have only company say okay, later I pay for you like that. No, sir, actually he have company IP also have including writing inside the 3,500.
The Tripartite Alliance for Dispute Management, or TADM, or TADM for short, is normally the first stop for any employee, local or foreign, needing to lodge a salary claim. That would be specifically be for salary arrears, so short payment or non-payment of salary. And a TADM mediator is normally assigned and who will assess the facts of the case and the situation based on the documentary proof submitted by all parties involved.
So Adam, he is just asking to me, Adam officer, show some thing for the all everything including company have so much problem and don't have money, is poor, very poor already, so have take some loan from bank like that, and that's why company cannot give him the $20,000, just only give to $500. I'm an officer and this officer also asking to him, so company cannot give you money, so I just give you the 500, so you withdraw your case and you go back to your home. He think he can come again Singapore because have family problems, so some coming Singapore do some job. Yeah, he said is how much I pay the agent money, that is not matter. So many my friends have in Singapore working, so every person is asking to me and I also believe Singapore is very beautiful country and people is very good mind. So that's why I don't think anything agent money how much take. I just come to Singapore. He say his family very poor family, and he has the have a dream to diploma engineering. I finish, then I go back. If I can going to Singapore, I do my best or extra all everything. So he have, but now unfortunately it's bad luck. He said actually not angry, but so sad for all everything, including agency money also, and coming Singapore, have so much big dreams. I have job, I can take care of my family, but now almost finished that. Don't have to any way to pay them. Don't have to pay them, but how I don't know if his family also know about this, and his family also think about this, how he's come back again, Bangladesh, then how to pay the agent money this one, and family also don't know how to pay, and very upset too about this. He's coming to engineer, but his company don't give to any job to same like engineer. 1 month only he working construction site. After he was transferred to this shop, and shop have the vegetable selling, have the rice packeting, have the water carry, have shop the all everything he's do. He's shocked, but his employer explained to him, I don't have now job, so you come working this shop inside. So if I can get the job, then you going there. He's shocked, but no have choice.
TADAM and MOM together publish something called an Employment Standards Report every year. For the latest report that was for 2022, it was established, it was specified in the report that 93% of cases saw a full resolution of the claims in which the employees received the amounts that they were claiming for. What is stated in the footnote, however, is that this includes settlement agreements, such as in Causa's case. So even though he was actually owed, had made a claim of $20,000, but he only received $500 in a settlement agreement, that essentially went under the statistic of salary claims that were properly resolved. But that's not right, because he was owed a whole lot more money, and this was his blood, sweat and tears, money in which was effectively owed to him through his hard work, and in which he did not receive all of it in return. So it's something that we observe here at TWC too, that constantly happens to low-wage migrant workers. It's always them, this group of workers, who are having to make that concession to their employers, having to lower their claim amounts, and they do this largely because either they are eager to get some money back, any money back is better than no money at all, or they just want to finish the case so that they can go home and move on with their lives as soon as possible. I think one of the challenges and difficulties that TWC2 faces is that by and large our migrant workers issues are largely under the radar. So very often, for example, when we tell someone who's not aware of the situation, or new volunteers who have just come in and they find out about what migrant workers still face, they're very surprised and they go, oh my goodness, I'm shocked. I thought Singapore had laws, and I didn't realize that workers would still continue to face such situations today. But they do, and it's because enforcements are lax, perhaps, even though the laws exist. And so it was only during COVID, for example, that we were more in the attention of the public because of how it affected migrant workers, because of how COVID exploded in the migrant worker dormitories, that there was a lot of a groundswell of sympathy that emerged for this group of people that are otherwise often invisible in our society. And unfortunately, I think it has gone back to that today. TWC2 has been around for 20 years. We're just celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. And I think our wish actually is to no longer exist, because if that happens, if TWC2 is no longer in existence, it essentially means that we are not needed anymore. And all of the problems in which we have worked so hard at over the past 20 years have been resolved. And that is our wish, for it to finally be resolved. Public can support TWC2 in several ways, the first of which is via donations, monetary contributions. Well, it's no surprise that all the services in which we provide, whether it's the caseworkers for casework support, whether it's with the free meals program, whether it's helping a worker to get the treatment that the employer is not providing, all of this requires money. TWC2 is actually very proud of the fact that we spent a very, very low percentage of our funds each year on administrative costs. The large part of donations that come in go towards the services in which we provide. And therefore the public should give confidently, knowing that we spend the money where it is important. The public can also contribute in terms of amplifying our voices. So if you follow us on social media, you can also go to our website. You can help to share, to first of all educate yourself on the issues that still face or plague migrant workers today, and to help us then share it with people who might not be aware. Last but not least, the members of the public can contribute in terms of voluntary work. TWC2 has a very robust voluntary program. We have a bi-monthly program that's known as Heartbeat, a Heartbeat volunteer session, whereby potential volunteers can come to learn more about the different parts of TWC2 in which they could contribute to. And we certainly need you, no matter what your expertise might be, whether it is that you want to specifically help workers with casework, whether it is that you just have the time, for example, to accompany a worker to go to the hospital, or if you want to do more fun stuff like just joining us in our outings that we organize for the workers who have been injured, who are waiting for their cases to be resolved. It can be a very agonizing wait for these workers, a very long wait as well. So sometimes these excursions and outings can help them with their mental health, and it's something that we welcome volunteers to come and be a part of as well. I think we all know that Singapore is built on migrant labor, that we would not get anything constructed, that we would not get anything cleaned without the help of these migrant workers. Even the domestic workers who are looking after your children and your family at home. There would be none of them if we had no migrant workers in Singapore. We owe it to them not to give them a great treatment, but just to be fair, to treat workers fairly and equitably the way we would treat any other Singaporean. And that's, I think, the least that we could ask for.
Coconuts TV.